Hey mamas, I'm going to show you a few moves that you can do if you have an exercise ball like this at home. If you don't and you are pregnant, I highly recommend getting one of these. You can order from Amazon, and it's really good for just sitting on when you're pregnant, especially. It helps open up your pelvis as you're sitting on it. So that's really good. We want to open up our pelvis as we're preparing for birth. It can also just be a more comfortable spot if you're having a hard time getting your body comfortable when you're sitting as your belly's growing. But I'm going to show you some specific movements you can do more than just sitting on it. So we're going to work on loosening up your pelvis. Really important because when you're pregnant, your spine and your pelvis get kind of like locked into each other. So we want to loosen up that connection between the spine and the pelvis. This is also a really good exercise for somebody who sits a lot. But let me show you some of these movements we're going to do. So first of all, when you're sitting on the ball, spread your legs out really wide so you have a strong base in your feet and you're not going to lose your balance while we move around. But again, we're doing gentle movements. So I want you to start, you can put your hands on your hips. It's going to be a little bit easier to feel what we're going for here. And I want you to tuck your tailbone under and then press it back. So back and forth, and the ball just slightly rolls as you go forward and back. And what this looks like from the side, kind of tucking under, then pushing back, and you're tilting your pelvis back and forth here. You can get more exaggerated with this once you feel comfortable. You can do a small movement right here where the ball's barely moving, or you can lean into it a little bit more. Lean forward, tuck it under and lean back, okay? And you can lean back and forth more. So then the next movement I want you to do is side to side. Take your hips up and down. So from the front side, it looks like this. This is a lot easier to do on a ball than if you're just standing, because you're actually lifting the hips back and forth, and the ball just kind of rolls side to side with you as you move. And again, if you make it more exaggerated, you can kind of push that ball to one side, push that ball to the other, back and forth, and just get that swinging motion. Now the next thing, this is going to feel the best I think, is do a circle. So if you think about your pelvis as a circle, that's what it is. Think about it as a bowl of water. So what you're doing as you're going around in a circle here on the ball is tipping water out of the front, the side, the back, the side, and just gently pouring just a little bit out around every edge. So you're not going forward, side, back, side, right? We're trying to make it more fluid. And it might feel stiff, and that's okay. The more you practice this, the more loose you'll feel, and then you'll feel better in your posture as well. Then you can circle around the other way. And it may feel better or worse going in one direction. For me, it does. I'm 6 years postpartum, and I have one direction that just moves a little bit more smoothly than the other. And that's okay. We're uneven. Nobody's perfectly symmetrical. So we're just circling around here. And again, you can make it a small circle, so you're just moving right around the center of your body, or you can exaggerate it and lean around, use that ball to make this a nice big circle. But I want you mostly feeling it in your pelvis. So it's not so much about bending forward and leaning around like that, not circling your top half, just circling around the pelvis. All right, then we can add some arm movements to this as well, just to add a little bit more movement. So if you raise your arms up overhead and then gently rock side to side, and as you rock side to side, your hip kind of pops out the same way we were doing when we just had our hands on our hips back and forth. So when you're here, you're getting this really nice stretch, this really nice opening through the side here, which is good too, because a lot of times when we're pregnant and when we're sitting a lot, we're kind of scrunched in, locked up here in the side, in the spine and the pelvis, and also in our sides. So opening up feels really nice. And then you can bring your arms in front of you, sort of like a ballerina. I am not a dancer. And just add a little rotation. So rotate left and rotate right. Just using your arms as a driver to help you rotate a little bit more. So let your eyes follow your hands, and you can move fluidly with it, just rotating back and forth. Should feel this nice awakening in your spine as you're rotating it back and forth, kind of a wringing out of the sponge of your body. And then the last one for you here is to just raise your arms up and then press them back. Raise them up high, then press them back. And again, every time you're moving your arms around this way, I want you to let your eyes follow your hands. And you can get into a pelvic tilting here too. So you're tilting it back when you push back. Then you're tilting it under as you lift up. I'll show you the side view of that. So when you press back, you're pushing back with your pelvis too, tipping it back. And then when you come up, tuck your pelvis under. Flow back and forth. And you can do this as much as it feels good. All of these movements here should feel good, and they're really just geared mostly towards like second and third trimester and also fourth trimester as you're just getting back into movement. So that's what I have for you today for this video, and I'll get back to you soon.